Netanyahu opened the interview by issuing a grave warning. Iran is developing intercontinental ballistic missiles that could potentially reach major American cities like New York, Boston, Washington and Miami, and is placing them under their atomic guns. He added, Iran is developing ballistic missiles with a range of 8,000 kilometers. Add another 3,000 and they can get to the east coast of the US. The Israeli leader framed this alleged missile development as more than hypothetical. He depicted it as the central axis of a looming existential threat, reinforcing the idea that Tehran's space and missile programs are converging toward a future nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM capability. While Iran does already maintain a significant inventory of medium and intermediate-range ballistic missiles, many analysts say that producing a fully reliable nuclear-capable ICBM remains an extraordinarily difficult technical challenge. But the potential overlap between satellite launch vehicles and long-range missile technology is among the principal reasons that Iran's space program draws international scrutiny. Netanyahu stressed that this trajectory demands attention not only from Israel, but from its closest ally. He declared that Israel has been collaborating with the United States in building the most advanced offensive weapons in the world, ones even great powers don't have. He portrayed Israel as a frontline defense not merely for itself, but also for American interests. He warned of an adversary he deemed unpredictably dangerous, painting Iran as a regime capable of nuclear aggression from a not necessarily rational regime chanting death to America. With that, he sought to underscore the stakes for the US and the broader world. Even as he raised alarms about Iran, Netanyahu said he views the Gaza war as central to Israel's immediate security. He placed great emphasis on the October 7, 2023 attacks by Hamas, which he characterized as the worst since the Holocaust. He claimed that despite the scale and horror of that assault, Israel had emerged stronger, saying that in the intervening period, Israel has inflicted severe damage on many of Iran's regional proxies and diminished Tehran's influence in the area. Looking ahead, he struck a cautiously optimistic tone. We are close to ending the war, but not there yet. He reiterated that Israel's primary objectives remain the safe release of hostages and the elimination of Hamas governance in Gaza. He stated Israel sought the return of 46 hostages, 20 of whom, he asserted, remain alive in Hamas's custody. He also insisted that Israel would not leave the Gaza Strip under Hamas control. Netanyahu framed the struggle in Gaza not as open-ended warfare, but as a mission with defined endpoints. Deliver justice for the October 7th attacks, secure the hostages' return, and remove Hamas's grip over Gaza. As of mid-2025, Iran continues to maintain a robust missile force, including short and medium-range systems. Its space launch program has raised concern abroad precisely because the same rocket technologies that place satellites in orbit are, in theory, adaptable to long-range ballistic missile systems. International observers and defense analysts caution that achieving a fully reliable nuclear-capable ICBM with appropriate re-entry capabilities is far from trivial and remains unproven for Iran. Nonetheless, Netanyahu's claims should not be dismissed as mere rhetoric. Even the impression of an advancing Iranian capability tends to amplify strategic pressure on Tehran and its patrons. In past months, Israel has intensified direct military action against Iran's nuclear infrastructure, most notably through Operation Rising Lion, a campaign announced in June 2025. In that operation, Israeli forces struck multiple nuclear and missile-related sites in Iran, including at the Natanz facility and other installations. Netanyahu later declared the operation a historic victory, asserting that Israel had neutralized Iran's immediate nuclear threat. Tehran retaliated with missile and drone barrages targeting Israeli cities, which Israel says it intercepted successfully using systems including Iron Dome, David's Sling and Arrow. In June, a missile strike damaged Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, prompting accusations by Israel that Iran had intentionally attacked a hospital. Israel continues to face domestic and political pressure over the fate of hostages held by Hamas. As of October 2025, 48 hostages are believed to remain in Gaza, painted by many sources as a shift from Netanyahu's earlier 46 figure. US, Egyptian and Qatari mediated talks resumed in Cairo in early October, focusing first on a hostage-prisoner video exchange and ceasefire framework. Some observers say momentum is modest, while deep political divisions in Israel strain the prospects of any deal. Another complicating factor is the volatility of Netanyahu's governing coalition. Some far-right ministers, including Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, strongly oppose any diplomatic arrangement involving Hamas retention or leniency. Their opposition threatens to destabilize the coalition imminently. Meanwhile, opposition leader Yair Lapid has temporarily extended support to prevent a governmental collapse while peace efforts proceed. Beyond domestic turbulence, Israel has maintained military operations even as peace talks proceed. Netanyahu has signaled Israel will not fully withdraw from Gaza without achieving the disarmament of Hamas, whether by diplomatic or military means. By juxtaposing Iran's alleged long-range threat and the Gaza confrontation, Netanyahu seeks to place Israel at the center of both regional and global security debates. He presents Israel not as an isolated actor, but as an essential ally in a shared struggle, particularly with the United States. His repeated references to US cities under atomic guns and his claim that Israel helps produce weapons, even great powers don't have aim to broaden Israel's threat narrative beyond the Middle East to the American homeland. His rhetoric suggests that the Gaza war is not merely about territorial control or military dominance, but part of a larger front against Iran's ambitions. The implication, success in Gaza is integral to Israel's and indeed the world's defense against an emerging missile nuclear axis. At the same time, Netanyahu's optimism, we are close to ending the war, but not there yet, is calibrated to maintain domestic morale and project resolve. But that very phrasing also acknowledges the uncertainty and difficulty ahead. While the convergence of space and missile technologies is a known concern, there is little public evidence that Iran currently operates a reliable, nuclear-capable ICBM reaching 11,000 kilometers, 8,000 plus 3,000. Some analysts view his numbers as exaggeration or rhetorical pressure. Hostage count and credibility. Netanyahu's figure of 46 hostages is out of sync with most media reports, which cite 48. Some commentators suggest the discrepancy reflects shifting intelligence or political posturing. Coalition fragility. The complexity of Israeli politics means that major concessions, even ones aligned with broader US goals, face stiff internal resistance. The threat of a coalition collapse looms large over any diplomatic movement. Some international voices have accused Israel of disproportionate force, and the International Criminal Court has ongoing investigations into alleged war crimes involving operations in Gaza. Israel, in turn, defends its actions as legitimate self-defense. Tehran has demonstrated capacity to respond to strikes, including missile salvos into Israel and regional attacks. Any Israeli campaign against Iran, even if tactically successful, risks protraction, escalation, or inadvertently boosting Iranian domestic support. Even as indirect talks begin, gaps remain on critical terms: Hamas disarmament, Gaza governance, external guarantees, humanitarian corridors, and prisoner exchanges. If Netanyahu succeeds in securing a deal that achieves Israeli objectives, hostage release, partial withdrawal, weakening Hamas, he could claim a diplomatic and military victory that bolsters his government's standing. The narrative of Israel as a bulwark against Iran would be sharpened, but the path is fraught. If negotiations stall or break down, Israel may remain mired in Gaza with growing war weariness and international censure. The coalition could fracture, triggering new elections and raising strategic uncertainty. Moreover, the broader confrontation with Iran still looms. Netanyahu's threats on missile programs may compel Tehran to accelerate clandestine development. Israel may feel compelled to strike again or risk being outpaced by an emerging strategic competitor. For the United States, the stakes are also high. Netanyahu's framing invites America to view Israel's battles not as regional contests, but as shared defense priorities. Washington must weigh how far it is prepared to align with Israeli military ambitions, especially ones involving strikes inside Iran or active escalation. In sum, Netanyahu's interview is not merely a political messaging exercise, it is a declarative manifesto. It presents Israel as the defender of the free world under existential threat from Iran's evolving capabilities and positions the Gaza war as a central battleground in that broader conflict. Whether reality matches the rhetoric remains to be seen, but his narrative is now firmly part of the diplomatic and strategic discourse surrounding Israel, Gaza, and the future of Middle East security.